Hey everybody, what's going on? This video is I'm going to talk about what's called exit strategy. Okay, and I bring this. I want to do this video because I get a lot of folks that are want to get involved in real estate wholesaling, um, or any kind of creative real estate transactions, that kind of thing. And you know, here's the issue. Okay, whenever you're looking at a deal, okay, I, I get questions like this. Hey, I'm looking at this 123 Main Street and it's for $175,000 and it's green. Is that a deal or something, right? And here's what I want you to understand: you make money in the arbitrage of real estate wholesaling or any kind of real estate transaction by a good exit strategy. What do I mean by the exit strategy? If you're going to be doing real estate wholesaling, you've got to know your buyer's business model. This is so important. Okay. I want you to be thinking like an investor. Okay. You need to be able to go, if this guy's going to buy this property, this gal's going to buy this property, how are they going to make money in this deal? What's involved, right? I get people saying to me, "Well, I was on, bought some seminar, bought some course, or was at a seminar on YouTube or something, and they keep saying you have to be at 70% of the ARV, then someone says it's 65% ARV, and then someone else says 80%. What is it?" Okay, well, that's a good question, and the answer to that question isn't me telling you over some, on the internet. Hey, well, yeah, this is 70%. No, the answer is actually what your buyer is going to tell you. Okay, does that make sense? Well, how do I know what the buyer is? What their business model is. Well, you need to ask them. Okay, if you don't know their business model, you don't know their exit strategy, you're not going to be successful. Does that make sense? Okay, I don't care if it's a piece of land you're thinking about wholesaling, or if it's a residential house or commercial, whatever. What is that buyer going to do with that thing? Okay, you need to know that. So rule of thumb is certainly 70% of the ARV, and I say it just because typically when you're doing this, I mean, there's risk involved. What if you buy wrong? I bought wrong, and it's no fun. You got to bring money to the closing. So 70% of the ARV, that 30%, that's not profit. I mean, out of that 70%, if you try and retail it, I mean, the seller's going to retail it. 6% of that is going to be, commissions, you got closing costs, you got and so forth. I mean, it might be 10% if you have to, as a seller, have to participate in your buyer's closing costs. That could be up to 3.5%. That's 10% right there off the top of just stuff you got to pay for to sell your home. Okay, so that 70% of the ARV, you had that 30% profit, but 10% of that off the top is going just to sell a property. So, and then you've got holding costs and things like that. What if you got to adjust what if you buy a property and you get market raw on it, meaning that the property has stayed there for a long time. Then you have to keep dropping the price, and you're not making as much profit. And if you do it wrong, like I told you I've done, you've got to take a loss. You've got to bring a check to closing. It's no fun. Okay. So you need to know your buyer's business model. Okay. And then from there, know what they now that you know what they're looking for. They're typically buying 7% of the ARV. Maybe in an area they've got a crew of guys, the rehabbing a house next door. Buyer might go, hey man, I 80% of the ARV here because I have my guys right here, and I can get this thing knocked out in a couple of weeks and still make some money on it. I think I don't know, but I've done that before too. Just I'm just giving my example is from my experience. So you just want to know what that is, and once you know what that is, now you have a really good idea of what your buyers are going to be looking for. Okay, and if it's a piece of land, great. Okay, yeah, you can get this piece of land for $50,000. What's the market going to bear? What's a buyer builder going to put on that house or on that land? Is he going to raise a bunch of emus? Probably not. But if he's doing residential, what's he building? The 1,200 square footers, or is he building 1,600 square footers? Okay, maybe a 2,200 square foot. These houses sell quite a bit. What would the market bear? And then what's his cost per square foot to build that 1,600 square foot house with the RV bay for the senior citizens? Because that's what people are buying in that particular area where that lot is. I'm just throwing these ideas. So how do you know all this stuff? I mean, how can you find out a business model? Get to know your buyers, build a relationship with the title company, figure out who those guys are. If you're clothing attorney state, clothing attorneys, they know who these buyer builders are or the flippers, and meet them at their job site. Ask them, would you pay for that rough in plumbing? Would you pay for that septic tank? Would you pay for that egress window? How much it cost you to get rid of that mold in the attic? Right? Does that make sense? Or hey, what do you build? What's your cost per square foot for those 1,600 square foot houses you're selling, right? And then they're going to tell you, and now you know, okay, now you know their exit strategy. So when you call your buyer, you can speak with intelligence. Hey, I have something you're gonna like. Your cost per square foot's 130 a square foot to build. You can sell these things all day long at 290 a square foot. Let's do some business. Does that make sense? If it's a piece of land or if it's a fixed up house, hey, you get this house for 100 grand, put 40 into it, you're gonna be able to sell it for 199 all day long. I got some cost for you. Let's do some business. Okay. So I hope that helps you as far as understanding kind of what what you need to be looking for whenever you're looking at a piece of land or a residential house to be able to do a sign to your buyers. Okay. If you need help, need clarification, maybe analyze the deal, whatever. So let me know below. We do a Zoom call, and potentially we do some joint ventures together. Godspeed. We'll see you on the next video.